So this is 23 December 2025. So first try to understand what is what was the perspective, and I believe that today the way I'm thinking, the way I was thinking and kind of understanding direction for the market was off, and I was wrong about that. Few reasons for that as well. So from yesterday, what I saw that we have been generating liquidity at this high for sure, as we're respecting it, and that is possible. Okay. And we were into this one of fair value gap. And yesterday we actually took out the slow, and I was looking to see a buy from here, but it was not clear. Okay, and so starting today's London session, before London session, the overnight we had been accumulating and been generating liquidity at this high, at this specifically uh, 25 uh, 532. We have been generating all this liquidity at this level as we're respecting and consistently going on. So starting. So before the starting of the session, we kind of had uh, swept this low and we had disbursement to the upside. Okay. Now, what I was willing to understand is that looking at this lower time frame, after it took this low, we have been kind of creating this equal lows here, which is we had created this equal lows, although we did had some divergence at this level, that's right. But we also are kind of, this is more like equal low rather than some form of divergence to me. I was like, is this supposed to happen or something like that? Okay, so again, the same thing that I was confused with understanding. Uh, do we gonna take this low and then we gonna start towards this high, or are we gonna take this low, have some, push to the upside, and then come lower, eventually end up taking this low and then going higher, and on the way respecting these highs, creating more liquidity at this high. Okay, so what's end up happening when you sweep this and it started coming lower, I find out that this is creating more liquidity at this high, eventually this high, and we can come lower and we can look to see to price to go lower because of this equal high, and this kind of telling this this is where I kind of started looking to see. And once we kind of came back into this fair value gaps and we can create again the same thing, started displacing higher, that's where I kind of get more confident on that we are generating liquidity at this low. We're definitely generating liquidity at this lows, and we do have a chance of coming lower and take this lows. And if we are doing that, this is just generating much more liquidity to the downside as you're coming people selling where their stops up here, break, and that's where liquidity is getting generated. So this idea of this equal highs was kind of giving me the reason. That's where I was kind of having the idea that okay, this might be the area where I look to see price to go and take and then displace higher. That idea started playing out, and from there I kind of started understanding okay, we might displace lower. Okay, after that, once we cleared out this high, so I started viewing it as liquidity to the other upside taken. We had a liquidity block or proper CISD up here in the 1 minute. We had this plus lower. So this I was looking this one as a turtle soup, and as to this plus lower. We had this displacement to the downside. After that, I was looking to see this 5 minute fair value gap get tapped in, and we take out this. So this is where the as very specific understanding related to entry comes into play, where understanding like taking a direct entry difference uh, checking further confirmation. Further confirmation means that once we shows, let's say, with this high we have displacement to the downside confirming that we can go lower, we have generated liquidity. We have this generated liquidity, this generated ultimately this one. And right, so I believe that when this push happens and I become confident on taking this low, what's gonna happen? I would like to say that after this happens, we go back, we take some high, right? We take some high from here, from the left hand side, rebalance into the level, and then we start displacing low. Now, in this scenario, once we take that high, I do not directly want to jump into this trade the moment we start this high because going down, you need to see some form of confirmation. Like you need to see some form of invalidation of level, most likely a fair value gap here. That would give you a much more idea that a low volume zone, considering the fair value gap, is getting ran through to the downside in this current example. It's giving me that sellers are into the play and they want to drive price lower. And that after that confirmation, I can have something like this. Okay. Now in this scenario, you have to understand that if you were right about the direction, eventually you take it directly, you take it after this understanding, both scenario, you are most likely going to be you are most likely going to be right. Right. Now another thing is if you are not right, wherever you take the trade, you are most likely gonna get stopped out. Now having what by taking by checking out this fair value gap getting ran through to the downside here is giving a high probability because if you look at this current price action, if we were able to kind of break through this fair value gaps to the downside here, it was a very high probability of chance of us going lower. But if you look at this, we end up respecting these fair value gaps because at this turtle soup, we usually have a quite a volatile move. Usually, if you look at these levels, you're gonna see that price moves quickly because it's gonna move quickly towards where you know the second trade gonna happen, consolidation, second trade gonna happen, right? So you see, we end up respecting and displacing higher. So until and unless that's happening, you are not taking the trades, and this can help you when you are wrong about the direction or price want to go for let's say a little bit more manipulation. You can make yourself in some of probability that the probabilities are high that you won't take these direct trades and these losses will not happen. Right? These losses will not happen. It can that one single confirmation can prevent. If you're right about the direction, it's all right. But if you are not right about the direction, or you might not right about the current PA, what can happen is that this can save you from not taking this trade and waiting for further confirmation like today. If I had wait to see this fair value gaps get ran through to the downside, I could have easily understand. If I was waiting, then I would not take this trade and eventually I would understand what's going on. Eventually, right. So these don't uh, this is a complete rule now from now on and something that I kind of find out from past trades and now as well that this needs to happen for me to take a proper confirm set up our trade. Okay. Now, this is a very main, pretty much a main, pretty much a main takeaway from today's session, and that I had to understand. Okay, so you need to see that don't get run through the downside or up to the upside. Inverse this example, then you can look to direct entry. Then you just trade that one's broken, you take it directly. That one's broken, that's your confirmation. After that, you don't think, you take it. After that, if you're wrong, you're gonna get stopped out. But if you're right about the direction, you're gonna see volatile push to the downside, volatile push to the upside. Eventually, you're going to be right. Okay, so that's the basic idea. Now, in this current understanding, uh, am I right? Am I wrong? Like, really, if you ask me that, I would be very, very confident on taking a buy from this level if I had seen these lows taken, specifically these two losses. Let's say that there was a divergence and I'm considering this is the low that I need to see. Sweep. We've been generating this, we sweep it, I wanna go. Okay, just coming back, coming all the way down is generating more liquidity to the upside for us to go and take it. Completely right. But if I just had seen that we kinda at least taking these lows here, and then kind of displacing higher and breaking through this fair value gap, it would be a perfect example. And if we were able to kind of take these lows from here as well, that would be like a very confirmation, because this is the main reason. Looking at this specific area and looking at this liquid lows, that's what kind of gave me the idea that okay, we might be getting more liquidity for us to take and then displace higher. And that's where I was wrong. It's generating liquidity right now, but maybe not for now. So this is where I was kind of confused, and this is where I made that wrong decision. And you paid the price. Simple as that. You have to understand that. But if you, so that's all right, no problem. Just have to understand two more losses. But if you look at this scenario, what I just talked about is our model, our understanding of this invalidation. So look at this. This is a nice example here. If this is it, what I was talking about. Okay. So this is your liquidity perspective generated by side, everything coming back on the way. Taken this, but this is generating more liquidity to the upside and eventually this one. So I know my direction. Once this one taken and we had displacement to the upside, this is a 4 hour low. We can you would like to see some internal sweep and displacement back to the upside. I would like to see some liquidity block get created. Yeah, I would like to see a high sweep, then a low, and then the high get broken. In this case, we had a massive displacement to the upside. Okay, that's all. Okay, forget about this equal highs and lows, just focus on that. So let's consider, okay, this was sweet and we had the displacement to the upside. That gave you the confidence, okay, we are now going for where I look to see us to go. After that, what's gonna happen? After that, I would like to see, not much, that I would like to see this fair value that gets run to the upside. This is my, okay, we came back and let's say that we kind of swept this low. This low was exit now. Now, if I was, let's say that I took a direct trade from here, right? If you are right and you manage your stop loss properly, you are gonna get rewarded, right? So even this trade, you take the trade from here or you take the trade from here, you're gonna get right. But this is a situation you were right. So that's why I said, but if you were not right and price had to was lower, then eventually you'd see that price respecting these areas and displacing lower. Okay, so what's happened here? Uh, so this is what it entry would be. This fair value gap gets ran to the upside, and that's your entry. Pretty much, I'd say that's your stop and structural high, then all the way up to last target, right? So that's how you would do it. We want to see that level get ran through to the down upside. Okay. If I can go to the place, I see there is like three consecutive fair value gaps in a way, this whole area. So again, I got it. Area. This whole low volume zone area is getting ran through. This can giving me that idea. Okay, kind of giving me that idea. Broke through this fair value gap. That's where my confirmation. So that's how it is. That's how you confirm it. But this is where I really like the way we've been generating this liquidity candle. That's where I was kinda. But I would say that I could have prevented this loss just from taking that simple confirmation on that, and that's the key takeaway from today's session. So from the next session, this is what I needed to always remind myself, work on that. Anyway, right? Let's go make the journal. Usually, if I had directed it, anyway, that's, that's all I'm having, and that's all I'm doing. Yeah, correlation. Yes, we need to see something, Brazil and this entry method was. I would like to say that would be like a 5 minute fair value gap. The way I try to enter from this was 5 minute fair value gap and direct entry. Right? I said that private entry. So 5 minute fair value gap, private entry. I had a beautiful loss there. Model checklist wise, now one thing that I'm kind of a little bit of reserved with is how that internal sweep had to happen. I believe if I confirm, there's a very specific what else that happened. And that's kind of really beautiful that I've explained this block. Like I have already said that you look to see this in this scenario. I always said that you need to see that proper high or low get made first that it can broke and then consider us to be was higher. So in this, after you enter into the level, so in this scenario, if you can see high sweep, low sweep, high sweep, low get broken, and okay, I can consider this one as a block, no problem. You see this high swept, you see this low swept, high swept, and they have this plus one. But it is like doesn't feel that good to me. Like model wise, this is where is my model. And that's giving me the confirmation of that we are now ready to reverse and going low. So this should be something like this in this case. Like we enter and we have like we have a proper low. We have a proper low. Okay. And we swept that low and swept that high. And that creates a proper low here that can be broken. After this can be considered a proper break of structure or CISD, whatever you want to, because it has swept liquidity both side and then this plus power. Okay. And that has also created a proper low that considerably can consider as breaking through this one, pretty much telling us that we are going. That specific low needs to be broken. So that's how you can understand that specific low getting made into the market, right? So yeah, there is nothing to do about that. Sure, by this time we have it. I really it as well, but what you can do about that? Sleep and you know. Hmm. Had this discussion too. Outside. Maybe the overall I was wrong today, so nothing to do about that. So moral checklist price I can consider okay this. If I consider that I would say. So moral emphasis validation. That's pretty much all I look to see pretty much. Thank you. Question one. Stop loss. Stop loss. Oh, nice. There goes stop loss. Because I'm trading the demo account, just trying to get a better hold onto my understandings rather than focusing on the money. Some more time, I guess. We had loss ratings. I would give it like a B plus because I had to understand that once that's happened, once I have the proper confirmation and in state that from where I don't think anything, that's where I can rate myself a A plus because the checklist and everything. If this happened, that means I did everything right. And after that, if price takes me up, no problem in that. But execution wise, what needed to be done from me was 100% there, right? Confidence, so I give it a four overall. I can give it a three. Confidence or not. Was end up wrong? Maybe I think that hmm, today I was wrong, wrong about the right, and everything is explained in this video. So I'll just paste the link. Check out the video. Oh, I can just check out this video, no problem. And the image of trade that I have taken. Yeah, yes, so pretty much it. Main thing is to understand how and why and work on that. That's pretty much today's session.